Hello, and welcome back to Unhelpful. I can't be on camera for this one. It was just significantly easier to scroll through Central Leaks. And listen, Central Leaks is ass. They suck. I hate them. They're annoying. They post everything without any kind of filter. They don't hide any of their leaks. They just have been showing leaks all week for ZA, and they've done this for multiple games. They are incredibly annoying. However, they're usually right. And with that in mind, I do want to go through some of the leaks that they have been showing and talk about them. Starting, we're not going to do anything for ZA, or I'm going to, if I do run into CA stuff, I'll just edit that out. I don't want to do ZA. ZA is coming. We know it's coming. Like, it's a couple days away. Just wait to play ZA. I don't think we need to be leaking like megas and stuff. I actually think those kind of leaks are really annoying, but leaks like this where it's like, oh, look at the kind of game we're expecting, or like a general idea, I think these can be kind of fun. Like in this case, Gen 10 we know is obviously coming. They're calling it Pokemon Wind and Waves, Theme of Infinity, and directed by Shigeru Mori. Like, this is all information we pretty much knew, and the Wind and Waves thing has been around for a while. But this is also information that we kind of knew, but we were wrong about. Like, the leaks were wrong. They were saying it's going to be based on Greece. It's going to be, about islands and traveling islands. And while that's sort of right, it actually is going to be Indonesia and Southeast Asia. And that's really cool. We haven't been to an Asian region in a long time. Not since Gen 4. Since Unova and, the US region, or I guess like the New York-based region, we haven't gone back to Japan. We've only been bouncing back and forth between the States and Europe. So it's really cool to go back to a new part of Asia that we haven't been to before. And I think Indonesia and Southeast Asia is really cool. Like, this map here, I think is actually really cool. And I'm really excited to see that. This is obviously just a map of, like, stuff, but like, yeah, this looks cool. Like, I'm pretty excited to see this, to be honest. We're not really going to spend too much time on this. Riddler Coup has confirmed the information. Coup is like a relatively, you can see them up here. Coup is like a relatively known and somewhat accurate leaker. Let's read about Wind and Waves. This is the legendary Pokemon package for Storm. Storm package Pokemon role is Old Man, lives on an island that repels people, possesses the power to correctly guide people and Pokemon with the power of wind, only accepts humans who have properly raised breed Pokemon. Okay. Waves is an old woman, lives on an island, repels people, blah, blah, blah. Only accepts humans who have raised breed. Okay. Okay, so there's a wind and wave Pokemon. They live on an island and they repel people. Like, that's neat. Apparently, Seed Pokemon. It's a baby Pokemon of a species encountered in a resort area. Seed Pokemon is pre-evolved. This Pokemon is rarely seen in this land, and no one has seen its evolved form. It's said to have infinite variations in its form. This could be neat. Like, we'll see later in this, but they are talking about procedurally generated islands. So, like, the game constantly changes and constantly evolving. And that would be really cool if we got a Pokemon who, like, has, like, a like, kind of like Spinda, where, like, a lot of things can change to the point where it's basically no two will ever look the same. That'd be really neat, actually. And up here, so in this one, we're going to see a lot of, like, talks about specifics of the game. Like, you are both from a city, you have a sibling, and I don't know, some of this just seems a little less interesting, at least as far as I'm concerned. I do like this one. The land development team is the evil team, and it's some people who work their job. Like, they don't care about what's going on. They're just, like, there for their salary, and, like, that's kind of funny. So they're planning on doing jungle environments in the game, which is something Pokemon hasn't really done. We've had a lot of forest, but we don't really get jungles. And while they're kind of the same thing, I feel like that means more, like, height, more I guess more exploration. I don't know. This seems like a neat idea, though. Surviving in the jungle will be one of the main themes. Apparently, this is just a Pokemon, and it's kind of hard to see, but if you look in here, it looks like a foot or something is kind of here. Like, I could see this being, like, early of the, like, prototype of the box art legendary here. I do like how this is kind of shining. This does give like wave vibes, I guess. I could see this being the wave one. They say this was leaked a few months ago and they just ignored it, and you can explore underwater. Going back underwater would be cool. We haven't seen that since, Gen 3? That would be neat. This is the one that is probably the most interesting to me. Pokemon Legends 2, so instead of the current Legends ZA that we're getting, we would have gotten Legends Ho-Oh and Lugia. There were 2 versions for this one, which is really cool. 2024, marking the 25th anniversary of Gold and Silver. This is something that was kind of rumored and leaked around the timing for this, and it just didn't come out. Like, when we were getting reveals, or when we first got revealed for ZA, a lot of people thought it was going to be for Gold and Silver instead. And it seems like there's reason to believe that that's what they thought, because that's what was happening. It was originally going to be Legends for Ho-Oh and Lugia, which was really cool. I really wish we would have got this. As much as I'm excited for ZA, I love Gen 2, I love Johto, and I would have loved to have gone back there. It needs to be the ultimate form of the Legends series, set in a time before Pokemon trainers existed, a story about the origins of trainers. The protagonist who has fallen through time commands Pokemon and revives 3 Pokemon. So it seems like we would have revived the legendary beast. We would have been like there for that to happen. And like, this is what everyone, I think, wanted from a Gen 2 Legends game. I think this is what everyone was excited for. I think this is what everyone really wanted. Not that I'm unhappy with ZA. I think ZA looks really good. But, like, look at this. The burned tower, it would have been 9 stories. We could have gone through all of that. I think this probably would have been my ideal game to get. And I really hope they revisit this in the future. We'll see later what they plan for for Legends 3 already is. We get a nice, like, detailed look of their roadmap till 2030 from this. And this game just isn't on there. But I do hope they revisit this, even if it is, in 2031 or 32 or something. I hope they bring this back. This is exactly what I want from Pokemon. Pokemon Gen 10 will be switched to exclusive. I think that makes sense. Everyone pretty much knows that. You can see everything was kind of pushed back. These were probably pushed back prior to this, where this goes, but like, these were over here. So like, this doesn't make any sense for these to be together. So this was obviously pushed back. This is Legends 2 being pushed back to 2025, and Gen 10, Gen 10 got pushed back. It seems like these have been pushed back quite a bit, to be honest. There's starter information here. I'm not going to go over that. It's really just how they're encountered, but I don't think that's worth discussing. That's the kind of thing I don't really want to spoil. I don't like spoiling the actual Pokemon. I think that's a little too much. I want to see... I think, contrary to most people who do spoilers for Pokemon, I think spoiling the Pokemon is like the worst thing, because that's what you really play the game for. Spoiling like the location, the general vibes of the game, I think that's not fine, but fine. Like, I think that's fine. I think that's the stuff that's more interesting, because that's the stuff that gets you excited for the game. Whereas the Pokemon, I'd rather them reveal it in their own time. I really like seeing the Pokemon in the game. Every Pokemon could be ridden or touched. Important. This was planned from 25 years ago. Jesus. Being able to ride every Pokemon would have been incredible. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's DLC were originally planned to be Kalos and Alola, which makes sense, considering Kalos is like right there in Gen 9. Like, you can see it on the map. And then I guess Alola, Unova, they're like same thing, just different. They're both American-based regions, one being Hawaii, one being, New York area. So that makes sense as the trade-off, I guess. But being able to go to Kalos would have been really cool. Screenshots of wind and waves, although I don't think this really gives enough information to tell you anything. Like, the island looks cool, I guess. But it's just not enough to do anything with, to be honest. Pokemon Legends 3 is Galar, set 1,000 years in the past. You create the first G-Max ball. Not gonna lie, while these images look really cool, I don't know. like, I'm not super excited to go back to Galar. Galar, it's so soon. It's so recent. I get that X and Y, going back to X and Y now is still recent. Like, we're only 3 generations out. That is still super recent to be going back to it. But I get it. Like, I kind of get that. I don't really want to go back to Galar, though. I mean, I'm going to play it. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm not going to play it. But it's not super exciting to me to go back to Galar. Galar was not my favorite region to begin with. Gen 10 coming or Gen 11 coming 2030. I think that's pretty obvious. They have a bit of a schedule for this stuff. And here's probably the big thing. This is what they are planning to release for the next few years, up until 2030, give or take. This is everything they have in development. Winds and Waves are releasing 2026, DLC 2027, obviously. Pokemon Legends Galar releases 2027 or beyond, probably 2028, but we'll see. Or at least late 2027, early 2028, like they've been doing for the most part. Pokemon Multi-Region Remake. I don't think we got to this yet, but there's plans to make a multi-region game that seems to be an MMO. That 2028 or beyond. That's neat. Pokopia will get DLC. I don't know what that is, and I don't really care about champions. The rest of this I don't care about. These first 3 is all I really care about. Confirming there's no Black and White remake during Gen 10. That kind of sucks. I really want to go back to Unova. As much as I like the Unova games on the DS, I don't think the DS is the most fun thing to play at this point. It's kind of just feels not great. I don't really like handhelds to begin with. I much rather play on the TV, and with that in mind, we need a remake of those games. Please remake those games soon-ish. I would honestly take a Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl style remake for Gen 5, if that meant I could just play it on my Switch. I just don't want to play it on my DS. Playing on the DS is annoying. I actually recently played Pokemon Y, and I was playing obviously on the 2DS, and like, man, it's annoying to go back to that system. I really don't want to. Please just remake Black and White. This is more screenshots from Winds and Waves. If this is what the game looks like, holy shit, this is gorgeous. This is a jungle, and this is a beautiful jungle, and I really like that. But let's be honest, this is more the Pokemon we know and love. Look at this. This looks like shit, and yeah, that's kind of what we expect. Even more Wind and Waves screenshots. Like, this is what we expect from Pokemon. Alright, this one looks really bad, but like, clearly there's nothing there. This looks cute. This is a pretty game. If this is your protagonist, like, that's, it's a neat character design. It's nothing. It like has like a little scooter they're on or whatever. Like, this is a decent character design. Obviously, you can't tell too much, and it's obviously going to change quite a bit. But this is like a good base for a character design. I do really like all the flowers and stuff. This is a lot prettier than Pokemon has been lately. Although I've never been a big hater on the graphics for Pokemon. I think they look good enough for what it is. These do look really good. Now this is the thing. I don't care for Sword and Shield that much. I think it's not a great game. I think it's just okay, and it's at best. But then you look at this. Like, look at Colossal here. This is amazing. I would love to see this, and I can see why they'd want to go back to Galar to do a Legends game, because you get to do stuff like this, and that's really cool. But also, I'd rather have the Johto game. Like, I'd rather just have Johto. This is a little, ridiculous, but like, I guess you can have a lot of Pokemon on the screen, which is neat. If nothing else, it just shows the quality of like the difference between Switch 1 and 2. Here we just have some concept art for Galar. You're like making a Gmax ball, and Tinkaton being there would be neat. I like I really like Tinkaton. This is one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 9. So really excited if they're there. I don't know what the hell that is. Not even gonna pretend to figure out what that one is. Alright, so here is Pokemon Project Seed is not only the Dream Multi-Region Pokemon game it's asked for, is also an MMO. And you would go from Hoenn down here, and then work your way up through Johto Kanto and into Sinnoh, with Kitakami probably being somewhere in this area. And that's really good. That sounds like a lot of fun. I would love a 4-region, like something like this has been, I think, the Pokemon dream for a very long time for a lot of people. And while I'm curious if they could actually do it well, I would absolutely play this. I don't care how I have to play this. I would absolutely be playing this. These screenshots are gorgeous. This look here for with the kids standing. This is a beautiful picture. I like this a lot. Really like this down here. I believe this would be Hoenn. Like this is the. I want to say this is Hoenn where you get the where they steal a submarine. I'm probably wrong. This is probably like something in Johto that I'm just not thinking about, like where the boat leaves to go to Kanto. But either way, these are just really nice screenshots. If this game comes out, absolutely will be playing this. This looks amazing. Just in the theory, the idea that they're working on a game like that is great, is wonderful. I hope they do absolutely make that. That would be a lot of fun. So this is a pretty neat, like, what it's going to feature. You have the gym adventure, weather move acquisition quest, ride license quest, MMO raid battles, battle rescue, boss Pokemon similar to Titan, Totem Pokemon, Pokemon survival, and diving, all in a new engine. That sounds like what we have in most games. Like if you try to like if you extrapolate this into what we have currently, think Gen 9, gym adventure obviously there. The boss Pokemon, obviously there. You can probably say that, like, the weather move acquisition, we'll say, is, like, the evil team type stuff. Like, that's probably where you're going to get that at. The ride license quest is, like, a new thing. The raid battles are basically the what do they call it? The Terra battle. Like, the raid battle would probably be something similar to the Terra battles. Pokemon Rescue seems like a much newer thing. Same thing with Pokemon Survival, and then diving being brought back. That's just neat. But you can see how this just feels like an expanded version of Gen 9, which is pretty much what most people, I think, want. I think Gen 9 is really good, so seeing just more of that is interesting. Beta Team Star. Alright, I'm not gonna lie. This is cool as shit. These are unrelated to, like, anything, but, like, the beta team stars are pretty cool. Like, how they have different ways of pulling the bus. I think that's neat, but not particularly important. Alright, so that seems to be everything. As you can see, it's not, like, a ton of information. Like, there's a lot of information here, but a lot of it is nothing, to be honest. Like, it's a lot of nothing information. And with that in mind, like, I don't want to spend an hour. Yeah, I don't want to spend, like, an hour talking about this, but there's a lot of nothing information. I think the biggest thing is probably this Pokemon Seed, the open MMO type game. Like, that's really cool. That's really interesting. And that's neat. Like, I would love to play this game. Obviously, Gen 11 is going to be a whole thing. It's going to be a big deal, and that's cool. I'm very excited for that. I don't want to take anything away from that. But the information just isn't really there for that in the same way. Like, while this has no information, this is a very new idea where you're going through 4 regions. This is a very different thing. If you look at the information we have for Gen 10, what do you really have, right? Like, it's a lot of the same things you get in Gen 9, just additionally, and, like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with this. I obviously am perfectly okay with, like, everything here, but this is less interesting, right? Like, the wind and wave feature doesn't seem super interesting. The dive thing is really cool, but honestly, between Legends 3 being Galar and having pictures of that, and the new open world game, I think those are the two that are the most interesting. Winds and Waves is something I can wait for next year for. It's not, like, it's a year away. It's not that big of a deal. And the pictures aren't exactly lighting the world on fire for me. Like, as pretty as this picture specifically is, nothing else is, like, coming close to that, right? And with that in mind, If we get more information, I might change my mind and get a lot more excited for Gaia, or for Wind and Wave. But right now, Wind and Wave is like, cool, we'll see it next year. Can't wait. But the things that's really making me excited about this leak are very much Legends in Galar and the multi-region MMO style game. Those two things are really cool. I'm really excited for that. Can't wait. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.